Every Destiny 2 player, from the hardest of veterans to the bluest of blueberries, has a favorite way to play and usually a favorite subclass. But what does your favorite subclass say about you? Wonder no more, because I'm here to tell you. Hi, my name is Fallout, and subscribe to my channel so I can catch up to the Jez. But without further ado, let's dive in. Sentinel. Well, look who it is. Everybody's favorite PvP player. Not even SpongeBob loves bubbles as much as you do. Your favorite game type is any type with a zone. Trials, comp, even Iron Banner for some reason. You wouldn't be caught dead in Trials without a max intellect build, and you will wait for the exact correct second on the in-game clock to drop your beloved bubble right on where the cap point will soon appear to guarantee your overtime victory. You know what else is max other than the enemy team's desire to wring your little neck? Your Resil stat, so you can spam Bastion overshields till the cows come home. After all, why work on outshooting dudes in a 1v1 when you can just out-health them? PvE players, you're cool. A little boring maybe, but cool. You're a team player, in the same way you might have had a friend at school who always carried around gum, Tylenol, or Kleenex. You're there for the people, and while you're potentially outclassed by the school nurse, aka the Radiant Warlock, the folks around you still appreciate you doing what you can. Also, you wish the Helm of Saint 14 were a tad better because it looks rad as hell. Stormcaller. I'm not actually sure how many Stormcallers we got left out here. The handful I see out there in PvP, you're usually putting out big Ezra Miller as the Flash vibes, and by that I mean you're often zooming around at Mach speed in a ball of dazzling electric energy, and also that most people hope to God they never encounter you face to face. To the non-lightning surge storm bros out there, you're actually doing the Lord's work by spreading adorable arc buddies around the team. You know, for emotional support. Many a former Stormcaller main often think back to the good old days where all you needed in PvP were geomags, and that's pretty much it. Although the majority of you are glad geos are dead, so the wannabes can go back to whatever they were maining before, while the diehards among you can go back to pretending that you're Goku in peace. Revenant. You know what? All kidding aside, I think any Revenant mains that are still out there in the wild, I think deserve some level of respect. Oh sure, there was a time around a year ago where we were all pulling our hair out with only one question on our mind.
How many fucking times are you gonna have that shit? Every fucking hunter, every fucking play.
But that was back then. We've come a long way since the jump, press 2 buttons, and insta-kill the entire enemy team meta. There's a good shot that if you're still a Revenant player right now, you just dig it for the movement tech. Stompies plus Shadow Dive equals fun movement in PvP, and that's a formula I can respect. Until you throw a beefed up Duskfield at me in Trials, that is. Then it all goes out the window. If you're a PvE Revenant, you're either a fun, shatter-happy player, or more likely a speed-running, out-of-bounding, shatter-skating son of a bitch, and Lord knows I ain't gonna stop you. Berserker. PvE Strand Titan mains, you're actually pretty based. You know that Titan Bubble has kind of taken a backseat to the millions of freaking Starfire Protocol Warlocks running around out there, and yeah, Thunder Crash is still fun. But you went ahead and dipped your toe into the pool of Supreme God tier ad clear, and now you are living in the deep end. Constantly suspending enemies is not only hilarious to you, but it never gets old. You probably gilded Conqueror on day 1, all while giggling to yourself as you transformed some of the toughest GMs in the game into a joke by stringing everyone up like a goddamn puppet master. I'm not even going to address the quote PvP Strand Titan mains end quote, because to be honest, I'm not even sure that you exist. Would be kind of akin to me talking to a loaf of bread that I've drawn eyes on, or trying to be pen pals with Bigfoot. He still hasn't written me back yet. Shadebinder. There's no denying it, you're straight up a troll. The only difference is, what's your pleasure, trolling AI and strikes with double Osmio turrets? Or trolling your fellow Guardians in Trials with cold snaps or well-timed penumbral melees? There is a dangerously high probability that you've got a bunch of clips saved somewhere of you deliberately freezing other people in PvP with your Rift activation, then sending them to an icy grave. Deep down, you know that hell awaits you for your playstyle, but at the very least, you'll be able to keep yourself cool when you get down there. Arcstrider. Odds are extremely good that you're a PvP player, and they're even better that you actually know what you're doing. PvP metas come and go, but in your heart of hearts, you've always known how good the Arc Hunter kit is, and you're kind of shocked that more people don't try it out. It may not be as easy to get going as a Tripmine Hunter or as devious as an Invis Hunter, but damn does it feel good in your hands. You think about recommending it to more people, but just like the guy who doesn't want his favorite hole-in-the-wall restaurant to get featured on some crappy YouTube food show and blow up, you don't want the spotlight on something you want to keep to yourself, and I respect it. Behemoth. In the year of our Lord 2023, if I actually see any Behemoth players out in the wild, I treat them the way that people in other countries treat those species of rhino where there's only like 13 left on the planet. I stick by them and guard them with my life. Who knows how much longer we have left until this beautiful creature becomes completely extinct. And if we really cared, we should put them into a sanctuary and hopefully get them to mate and reproduce. Feel like this is slowly turning into a Sarah McLachlan commercial. In the arms of an angel, fly away. Dawnblade, you're a meta slave and you know it. Raid, dungeon, strike, patrol, doesn't matter. You're going balls deep with high recovery, discipline, and Starfire motherfucking protocol. Don't hate the player, hate the meta, you mutter to yourself while stuffing 8 million fusion grenades down the local raid boss's throat. You'd rather run the Boston Marathon completely naked than go into any PvE activity in the game without your beloved Adept Hothead rocket launcher complete with Demolitionist. PvP players, you've been hooked on the drug that is Icarus Dash for quite some time now, and every time you change off Solar just to mix it up, you remember how awful it is without the ability to scoot around the map quicker. You enjoy eating your grenade and doming people from 50 meters up in the air, and you never go into trials without your trusty Radiant Well for the cap point. Nightstalker. I want to say that you're a fan of the classics, but the far more likely answer is that no one on your raid team / PvE group ever bothered to acquire Divinity, and you just need somebody to debuff the boss with a tether, and that is you. Suits you just fine. You've probably been running Tether Hunter for a fairly long time now, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Also a fairly good chance that you're just a high-level PvE player who still very much knows the power of camo in endgame content. If you're a PvP player, I think I speak for at least a good portion of the community when I say, respectably, fuck you. Of course, the majority of players who openly hate on Invis Hunters have also probably played an Invis Hunter before, and they chuckled with joy as they've tripped up the radar of and flanked the hell out of the poor, unsuspecting enemy team. Much like an angry suburban dad berating his teenage son after finding his $20 weed stash when he himself probably spent half the 80s on coke. Striker. PvE or PvP, you know deep down in your heart of hearts that you're out here abusing a meta class and you absolutely love it. PvP players, most of you decided sniping was too hard and sold your soul to the Dark Lord, the shotgun ape playstyle. You sprint headlong around the map with a 5 out of 5 god rolled shotgun just itching for trouble along with your two best buddies, Juggernaut and Knockout. Accuracy is for nerds. You'd rather just burst into a room like a coked out Wolverine and mangle anything in your path without a thought or a care. You probably rotate between Dune Marchers, Syntheseps, and Antaeus Wards as you blast and slap your way through the competition, laughing after your umpteenth shoddy shoulder charge combo. PvE players, quit your laughing, you're about as original. You probably haven't taken that falling star exotic off your chest in so long that you've got a chafing rash around your Titan's nipple line. Every time it's time to do a strike, a mission, a raid, a dungeon, don't worry boys, I've got Thunder Crash. Also, every night you go to bed and secretly pray to your deity of choice that Bungie brings your pre-nerf Heart of Inmost Light double Stormnade back to max power, because the thought of being Thor gets you harder than a Peregrine Grieve shoulder charge. Voidwalker. You know, I'd like to say that as a Voidwalker, you're a based player for sticking to your guns and not falling for the quote allure of the meta. But if we're being completely honest, there's a good shot that you were just too lazy to bother and decided to just stick to what you know. In PvP, you like two things and two things only: blinking around and sicking your blood-hungry void child on the poor enemy faster than a cop sicking their overly trained German shepherd on a Florida meth head. In PvE, you probably got tired of always being on fire teams where there were already 3 Radiant Warlocks ready to go, so you just said, F it, I'll go Nova Bomb, and it kinda grew on you. And now here you are, the few, the proud, the non-Starfire Warlocks. Y'all should have a book club or something. Sunbreaker. If you're a PvP player, you know how to have fun. While a select few of you may for whatever reason still be rocking the Loreley in PvP, and by the way, get help, the majority of y'all are good-hearted goofballs. Bonking someone with your throwing hammer gives indescribable joy, and it's very likely you've got a bunch of old clips saved on your console or PC of you ramping up one-tap fusion grenades, or better yet, one-tap hammers. There's a good chance that in 6v6 you run Burning Maul for the pure joy of knocking the other team around with a gigantic burning hammer. If you're a lover of PvE, you're a Sunbreaker for one of two reasons. 1, you enjoy lighting things on fire, or 2, you're a whittle scaredy baby 2 chicken to take off their exotic helm of stay alive forever. Which, look, I get it. Soloing endgame content, yeah, boring but understandable. But I mean, in strikes, patrol, y'all are weird. It's okay to try other exotics, I promise you. Gunslinger. Ha ha. Yeah, how many people watching today's video skipped right ahead, right to this part, I wonder? Yeah, all right, baby birds, I'll feed you. There's a 90% shot that if you're watching this, you are a ruthless, take no prisoners, young Ahamkara main. And honestly, I don't blame you. Chucking a stick-shaped nuke at the wall and erupting into laughter as it wipes out half the enemy team stokes the fire deep down in your soul. You're extremely quick to remind people that young Ahamkara hasn't changed at all since D1, while conveniently not mentioning the fact that Solar 3.0 fundamentally all-around improved the performance of said exotic and trip mines in general. If you're a PvE player, you're gritting your teeth at all the PvP trip mine chuckers because you're terrified of Bungie eventually nerfing your fun via a big blanket nerf. You'd rather use Blade Barrage for easy burst damage on a boss rather than craft some insanely overly detailed build that might require you to lean forward in your gaming chair a little bit, and that's fine. You also know in your heart of hearts that Golden Gun in PvP is one of the most fun roaming supers ever, and God help me, I agree with you. Keep having fun out there, you zany bastards. Broodweaver. You're playing Strand for one reason and one reason only: worms. God damn, do you think they're adorable? Not adorable enough to not send them out to their hilariously ill-fated death, mind you, exploding all over your enemies for free, but adorable enough to make you never want to change to a different class. You'd rather have a good time and goof around with meme builds than sell your soul to the meta like those Radiant Well Starfire bozos. And in PvP, you don't always get a ton of value out of your tiny green BFFs, but when you do, it's the funniest damn thing in the world. You swear your super actually does god tier damage in PvE, and you're right, but you'll be damned if those needles don't have a mind of their own and target whatever they want to half the time. Threadrunner. Smart Money says that you're a PvP main, and oh how you love nothing more than to absolutely style on and embarrass your enemy. Grappling round the corner into an ensnaring slam dive bomb is just another day at the office to you, and of course another clip to add to your never-ending collection. You might be an ability spammer, but you back it up with being pretty good with your level of gunplay and accuracy. If you're a PvE player, you have a very finely tuned build that allows you to constantly cause mayhem between suspending enemies and tangle shooting and chucking. Small chance that you also make little sound effects when using your super to whip some poor boss into oblivion. If you want me to keep this series going, both hit the like button on today's video and head down to the comment section and tell me what kind of video idea you want next. How was I? Pretty on target? Way off? Let me know, again, down in the comment section. Remember to click subscribe if you're new, and I appreciate you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on stream.